This conference will now be recorded.
So in this session, we understood in previous episode the difference between protecting data from Salesforce and once my data loaded to dataset, how we can protect data in Einstein Analytics Cloud. So let's go a little deeper about it. What we can do. Let's see how I'm going to secure from data. Okay. So in Einstein Analytics, data flows like see if load the data, what I need to do, I will create a data set in my Einstein Analytics platform, which I shown you before. From Studio, you can go click on create. Then I or Einstein Analytics platform are going to Einstein Analytics Studio to create a data set. So that user have what kind of permissions or what kind of access to object. So if and I have access to all data in my Salesforce object, then I can pull all the data to my data set. So if I am a user, I do not have access to all data. So then I can load my data to my platform only for data I can access. Okay. So simply to say, if it's going to load the data, then data flow will fail and cannot extract data from Salesforce. So now what we can do? Nothing but we can configure the user, their permissions or their profile to secure my data. Okay. So how we do? So if you see, let me show you, let me close it, go to my setup. When I have a user who is going to load data to my Einstein Analytics platform. So based on the licenses, you have your users. So I'm going to open one user and I'll show you what kind of permissions or what kind of security we can control on the user level. Just give a minute, let it open. Yes. So once in the setup, if you go to users, let's see list of users available in my org now. By default, you see, with Einstein Analytics platform, I have few users in this developer org. Okay, let it open. So now, if you see, there are few users with my Einstein licenses. You can say analytics licenses. Analytics cloud security user, cloud integration user. Okay, you can see users I have. Okay, so now what you can do, if I open this user, let's consider now. So this user now falls with a profile. So let me show you what is the profile. See, both the users what I have two different kind of profiles. One is analytics cloud security user. One is with profile analytics cloud integration user. So these are the standard profiles which we got already. Now I can have the user who is nothing but my user Jena Devasis. So he is also Einstein Analytics user. Now I want to control what kind of uh, data he can load or he can access to my Einstein Analytics platform. To do that, what I can do, the easiest way, we can simply modify my profile. Okay. So for example, if you see this user and its profile, I can go to the profile, and now I can show if anybody, any these users or any users with this profile log into the application, what kind of data they can access. It's a Salesforce security model. So now I can create a user, or I can update any user with the profile, with what kind of access we need to give. We give you want, okay, this user can access all data from my Salesforce or to Einstein platform. They can, then I can give read access to my all data. If you see here my object, let me show you the objects. I'm just scrolling down. You can see my object setting. See, so now whenever these user log into application or Einstein platform, they can load only the data what access they have here, and only to the columns for which they access here, depending on the field level. So and now if I want to edit, this is a file given by standard profile. See, if I try to edit, what is going to happen? So now I can define some user as a integration user or as a security user. Now here if you see, it will give privilege me to modify any object. So tomorrow I'm going to create a new object and I want to give some kind of permissions. This standard profile doesn't give. So simply what you do always as a best practice, just clone this standard profile. Simply click on the clone. Then we'll create with the same privilege of this profile. Let me give the profile name as Analytics Cloud Security User Custom. Okay, then we can modify what kind of data this user can manipulate or can load in my Einstein Analytics platform. Okay, so simply then you can edit the profile, you can go to the objects, you can define what kind of privilege you want to give. So if you want, okay, this user can load all data to my Einstein platform, simply you can go to objects. Okay, then you can set what are the privileges you want. Let me show you here. Here you can see I can say, okay, all view all. I can analytics license, so they don't need to create edit delete. Simply you can define they can read or not. I can give you all access, or I can say, okay, there is one object called let me show you cases. I want, okay, not to have all cases to load in my platform. They can load only the cases where they have access. So like this, you can give privilege of read or view in the profile level. So you can create the profile as you want with what are the privileges you want to set in the object level or in the field level. So once you save this profile, then you can go to my FLS. Let's in the account FLS, you can click on the view. Then you can see what privilege they have. If you want, okay, the account source should not be accessed by this user to load data to my Einstein Analytics platform. Simply you can edit and you can uncheck the data, like uncheck the privilege. So same way you can do whatever you want to control which data to be loaded or not. So it's a simple thing. So simply can I say, whenever I want to control data in my Salesforce, so I have to control by object level or field level. So now when you pull the data from Salesforce, we can make secure in the both way, like from the Salesforce side and as well as Einstein side. So just think, my data can be loaded to data either from Salesforce or from CSV file or from external database. Now, if the data you are loading Salesforce, any other Salesforce or okay, then based on the user profile setup, okay, which user going to load, we can control which data can be loaded to my data set either or by field level. Nothing but my standard Salesforce security mechanism. Okay. Now, once my data loaded to my dataset. Okay, so now the dataset owner who create dataset, the owner of dataset can control the data security in my Einstein Analytics platform side. How they can do? We can type of restriction which we can use in data set as there is two type of restriction we can say: row level restriction, security predicts, and sharing inheritance. We'll see this in detail. So from Salesforce side, you can control either by object level or field level, which is nothing but you control based on profile or permission set. If you want to give some other access of data, you can assign that permission set to the user. Okay. Now we'll see when I'm going to talk about these two different Salesforce data security and the security of Einstein platform. So what are the different things you can do? So in the Salesforce side, you can control using your roles and profile, where you can define your FLS or where you define your OWD, we can define your object level setup. This is you can control profile, and based on the role and role hierarchy also, you can have your data access privilege. And also, if your OWD setup on the public, private, or public read write on or based on the record ownership, also we can control the data to low data set. And also we use to write sharing rule. For example, I am a user. Okay, based on the OWD, my account, for example, is a private, and I have only the read access. So now, but there is a sharing rule written. So for example, based on this, in my system, I have account A, B, C. City as New York, we city as New Jersey, and we city as something else. Okay. Now I'm going to going to access data. I can see only the data which account with city as New York, for example, because of my OWD and profile access what we have. Now, if I write another sharing rule, if any account with city as New Jersey, that also can be accessible by me. So now I am the user based on OWD, based on the sharing rule, and based on the profile. Now I can see two account A and B. Okay. So now when I want to load data to my Einstein data set, I can load both data. So from the Salesforce, we can have roles and profile, OWD, record ownership, sharing rule, which control how it can be accessible. So same way when you go to Einstein analytics, how we are going to impose simply we have some security. I'll show you that. Then we have something called security predict sharing, which is nothing but we can say more on the row level. And we have something called application level security. So now I can create a Einstein analytics application, and I want this application can be accessible only by you and another user. So now I may have more 10 users whom I don't want to give access. Okay, or I may say, okay, these users can access as only read only, or they can access to modify it. You can do that. We'll see in the next session. So in a overview, I can say you can control security of the data for your Einstein Analytics platform in both sides. Either you can do from Salesforce, you can do from Einstein platform itself. So in the both the places, we have different mechanism. In the Salesforce side, you have role, profile, OWD, sharing role, and in Einstein platform, you have inheritance security, you have security predicts, you have application level security. We'll see all these things how I'm going to do in Einstein platform. Stay tuned for next session.